Alright, YouTube, so I got something to talk to you about today, and this is not the kind of video that I want to be making. This is a gaming channel, and the videos that I make are about gaming. I make gameplay videos, I make tip videos, I make strategy videos, and one thing that I never wanted to do when I started doing YouTube, I never wanted to get into all the drama and the fighting between YouTubers. I cannot overstate how uninterested I am in this. Nevertheless, I kind of feel like I have to say something about this because nobody else is doing it. I'm a small channel, and this is where I really wish I had a bigger channel so that I could have a better chance to get the word out, but all I can do is what I can do. So recently there has been a bit of controversy over some DLC that is being released for Middle-earth Shadow of War, and it's Forthog the Orc Slayer. And you may have heard of this. What happened is one of their producers, working on the game, he got inoperable brain cancer and he died during the development of the game. And along the way, somebody at Monolith Studios thought that it would be a good idea if they made this little piece of DLC to honor him. And so what they did is they put him in the game as a character in the game, and you can purchase this DLC. It costs an extra $5. It doesn't come with the season pass or anything. And then in the game, every now and again, this Forthog guy will just come in to help you out. He'll just show up out of nowhere when you're having trouble, and he'll help you. And as kind of a nice thing to do for the family, they decided that they were going to give all the profits from this DLC, they were going to donate that to his family. Okay, so that's all well and good. So a couple of problems cropped up, though. First off, some YouTubers noticed in the fine print that it said they would be giving $3.50 out of every $5 purchase to the family. And so some YouTubers really made a stink about that. They're like, well, why are they not giving the entire $5 to the family? Okay, well, quite obviously, 30% is the charge that you have when you sell your DLC on Xbox Marketplace, Xbox Live, on PlayStation Marketplace, on the Steam platform. They all charge you 30%. $150 is 30% of $5. It seems fairly obvious why they're only pledging $3.50 out of every $5. Okay, but it didn't stop there. They noticed in the fine print that it also mentioned that only something like 44 out of 50 states were going to be participating in this, and it didn't say anything about countries overseas. It just said purchases made in these 44 states in America will have this money going to charity. And YouTube blew up over this. You had all these YouTubers making videos just talking about how horrible the WB producers are, how they're profiting off of the death of one of their employees and whatnot, because they're going to be keeping all of this money and yada yada yada. And nobody actually did their research. Nobody actually looked into it. They all just jumped to making these videos. So here's the problem with that. Now, eventually somebody did contact WB about this, and WB said, no, we're not going to keep any of the profits. WB will not make any profit off of this. Monolith won't make any profit off of this. All the proceeds go to the family. And as it turns out, so the reason why they said that they were only going to be making the donations in 44 states is because depending on the law where you're at, there are stricter regulations about charitable donations and about what you can claim are charitable donations. And you may have to file certain paperwork, and you may have to do various other things to ensure that your properly following the guidelines for setting up charitable donations like this. And they didn't want to have to go through all of the different procedures for all of these different states that have these guidelines and for different countries and everything. So they're still allowed to give money to charity, but they're not allowed to say that all of the proceeds from this are going to go to charity unless they've jumped through all of these hoops in these places. So they only said that the money was going to go to charity in the 44 states where they can legally say that without having to file all this extra paperwork and set themselves up as a charity and yada yada yada. So this makes perfect sense. You see this kind of thing all the time in all kinds of things where there's a couple of states that are excluded. You know, California is popular. You know, this deal is excluded in California for some reason. And that's always why it is. It's because the laws are a little bit different in that state, and either you can't do what you're doing in the other states there, or there's more regulation to it in those states. It didn't mean they were planning on keeping the money. According to them, they were still planning on donating the money. They just couldn't tell you that all of your money is going to charity in these states without jumping through these hoops. And of course you've got, you know, all these jaded YouTubers saying, yeah, sure, well, now they're backpedaling on that. You know, they were planning on it and their plans got foiled. Okay, but the thing is, you don't know that. You're accusing them of like thought crimes here. You are making the assumption that they were going to do something that you don't know that they were going to do. And don't get me wrong, I'm not one to defend corporations. I understand that publishers' job is to make money and that sometimes they can be greedy and they can do irresponsible things in the name of making money. I just really don't think that in this particular case there was some evil producer sitting around twirling his mustache thinking, ha-ha, this is a way we can profit off of the death of one of our employees. I don't think that happened. And you don't know that happened. You're making that accusation, and it's a baseless accusation. Maybe if you had done a little bit of research, rather than jumping in, making all these clickbait titles, maybe you would know. But you don't know because you just jumped in blind. Okay, and maybe you're super cynical, and maybe you just don't buy it. Maybe you absolutely are convinced that, yeah, no, this WB is the worst, and they were absolutely planning on profiting off of this. Okay, that's fine, but you have to understand that some of this money was going to go to that family, and if they cancel this DLC and just don't sell it now, is this widow going to be making more or less money because of the things that these YouTubers have said about this DLC? She's losing money. She's losing money because of what the YouTubers are saying about this DLC. So their motives aren't pure. They're not doing this to try to make more money for this widow. If they were doing it to try and make more money for this widower, they would have just contacted WB and said, "Hey, you're not planning on pocketing money on this DLC from outside the States, are you?" But no, they didn't do that. They made a bunch of videos bashing on the DLC, knowing that their videos would destroy this DLC and would cause this woman to lose money so that they could make money. So even if you think that these corporations are full of evil bastards, well, I got news for you, man. These YouTubers, they are the same evil bastards, man. Everybody's trying to make a buck. It's not just WB who's trying to make a buck. Everybody on YouTube here, they're all trying to make a buck too. And so here's the problem. These YouTubers that make these videos, these are clickbait titles, right? You see this and you're like, oh my gosh, WB is exploiting this poor grieving widow. And you click on this video. do you think that the people making these videos, what do you think they made these videos for? You think they made these videos for shits and giggles? They made these videos because they're monetized. They made these videos because they get profit off of these videos. You click on their videos, they make money. They make this video with a clickbait title, they get 1 million views, they make like $1,000 for like 15 minutes worth of work. Because they didn't take the time to research anything. Alright, so this turned into a huge controversy for WB, and if you go and look now, so I had somebody on PSN, I had a friend of mine on PSN message me about this, and we've got a group of friends that talk on PSN all the time, and he came in and started talking about how WB was, like, ripping off all of these people, and I corrected him on this, and I told him a little bit about what was happening and kind of calmed him down. But this is just my little group of friends. How many people out there are there that are thinking now that this is a big rip-off scam by WB, and so they're not going to buy this DLC now that was supposed to be charity, that was supposed to go to this family? And why did it happen? What was the motivating factor for all these YouTubers putting these videos out? It was money. They put these videos out to make money, and now this DLC is going to flop. WB has actually pulled down the video from their Shadow of War YouTube page. They no longer have this video, so they are no longer promoting this DLC. They might cancel it, I don't know. I can't find it on the PlayStation Store. You can't go and buy it now. I was under the impression that you were supposed to be able to find this and just go buy it. I'm worried that they may have actually completely removed this DLC altogether. And that means all of the money that was going to go to this DLC for people buying this DLC, whether they removed it or whether just it's got a bad name now and millions of people are not going to buy it who otherwise would have bought it. These YouTubers made these videos because they wanted to get clicks and they wanted to make money. They got their clicks, they got their money, they slandered WB, they ruined this DLC, and now all of the money that would go to that DLC that was supposed to go to this grieving widow, gonzo. She's not getting any of this now. It's gone. And it's because of these YouTubers. They made profit off of this. They did exactly what they accused WB of doing. They come out and they tell you that WB is making a profit off of this grieving widow and her family. And in reality, what happened? They made a profit, and the money that they get comes directly out of the pocket of this grieving widow. They screwed this grieving widow over for money. I am utterly furious about this. And it's not just this. They also had the recent microtransaction fiasco, where they found out ahead of time that there were going to be some microtransactions in Shadow of War. And it doesn't look like it's going to be anything bad. It doesn't look like it's going to be anything that's going to affect the game in any way. But all these YouTubers run all of these stories that are just trashing on the game, Shadow of microtransactions, and just talking about what an epic fail it is. Like they're the first company that has ever put microtransactions into a single-player game. No, they're not. Assassin's Creed Syndicate had microtransactions. Didn't matter at all to the game. Assassin's Creed Unity. You go back further, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Assassin's Creed Black Flag, you probably love that game. Everybody loved that game. It had some horrible microtransactions. Do you remember this? I mean, it had all these time saver packs that you could buy to mark all the locations on your map, or to get the upgrades to your weapons or your ship early, or to make it so that you could carry more resources. This was all the way back in Assassin's Creed Black Flag territory. Deus Ex, the Deus Ex, am I saying that right? The Deus Ex game recently had microtransactions where you could essentially buy levels for your character. And it didn't matter, you didn't have to buy them. Honestly, it would ruin the game if you bought them, but they were there. Tons of games have microtransactions like this, and nobody has made a stink about it, but because Monolith was trying to be forthright with their fans, and they were trying to be upright, and they've been making these videos all through the development process and actually talking to their fans and getting advice and making changes to their game to try and make their game better. And YouTubers have just punished them for it. They have just looked for things to make fiascos out of so that they can make their clickbait titles. And now the microtransaction thing isn't quite as bad as stealing from a grieving widow, but it's still pretty damn bad. Because now you've got these YouTubers who are all making thousands of dollars by putting out, once again, these clickbait microtransaction titles, talking about how the game is ruined with microtransactions when there is no evidence that these microtransactions are going to have any effect on the game. So where does this money come from? Well, this money comes from sales of the game, because these YouTubers are slandering the game. People watch their YouTube videos, and then they say, oh, I'm not going to buy that game. That game's ruined with microtransactions. And then so people don't buy the game. And who profits? The YouTubers profit. The YouTubers made those videos, they put clickbait titles, they sit and they did all this rabble-rousing over nothing. They make money, Shadow of War loses money, and then what happens? Then we have a great, fantastic franchise that flops because of a bunch of greedy YouTubers trying to make a buck. So, I watched, I think it was YongYeah or YongYeah's video on this, and man, I was so furious after that. I straight out blocked his channel, so YouTube can't even show me any more of his videos because I was so upset about this. It was just such an irresponsible reporting job that he did. And so what I'm going to urge you to do, anybody watching these videos, if you have other channels like that, if anybody out there is a subscriber to this YongYeah guy, you need to go to this guy. You need to insist that he donate the profits from his video to this grieving widow, because it is unacceptable for these YouTubers, and not just him, anybody who's making these kinds of videos. If they're making a profit off of these videos, they need to be giving that profit to the widow. I will have ads on this video, and I'm a small channel, so I'm not going to make thousands of dollars off of this video. I may not make anything off of this video. Who knows? Maybe nobody will watch it. But I will put ads on the video, assuming YouTube doesn't demonetize it. And if I make any money on this video, it will go to the family. If I get any subscribers specifically from this video, I will donate an extra $1 to the family for each subscriber out of the profit that I make on my YouTube channel. I'm not going to donate out of pocket because I don't need a million people coming and subscribing to my channel on this video and then unsubscribing somewhere else, and I end up not making any money off of it and end up owing $1 million. But I will donate any ad money that I make plus $1 per subscriber that YouTube tells me that I got from this video up to the amount of revenue that I make in my YouTube channel for a year. And you need to go to these other YouTubers when you see them making videos like this. You need to insist that they do the same, because they have straight out stolen this money out of the pocket of this grieving family, and it is absolutely outrageous. Okay, and there's one more thing I want you to think about here. So WB is this big evil money grubbing corporation, okay? I'm not going to argue that. But in this case, I don't think that they had bad intentions. So what probably happened is somebody at Monolith who was friends with this Michael Forgey guy probably started working on this and was like, hey, what if we added this to the game? And what if we just did this as a nice little thing for the Forgey family and give all the profits to them as like a charity thing? It'll be good for the family, it'll be good for WB because it'll give us good publicity, yada, yada, yada. Probably pitches it to his boss. His boss is like, that's a pretty good idea. I'll take it to the upper upper management guys at WB and see what they think. They pitch it to WB. WB is like, yeah, okay, this will work. This is going to give us good publicity. We'll let you do that. And so they greenlight this, and then it backfires, and they get all this bad publicity out of it. So now, the next time somebody comes to WB and they're like, hey, we have this opportunity for you to, do something charitable, do something to help someone who's in need, what do you think WB's response is going to be? Like, well, we saw how that worked last time. Yeah, I don't think so. Sorry. So this kind of clickbait rabble-rousing, this has long-lasting effects. It's not just this family that you've hurt. There's no way to measure how much damage you've done with these videos in the long run, and it's really tragic.